I started martial art as like maybe about 7 years old, but I really wasn't interested in it. So I started training in, my uncle used to train me in jiu-jitsu and in Okinawan Te, which they called Te in those days, and judo. That's really my first start in the martial art. That's the basic thing. And then as time went, I kept meeting different people, and I've never stopped since. I didn't really like it because I was more interested in baseball, more interested in track and field, more interested in football. Got interested in martial art because I was beaten up pretty badly as a fourth grader by a sixth grader. And that memory always stayed with me. And so I was always looking for something that would protect me from that. So as time went on, particularly in high school, I started looking for people that can help me to have that goal. And that's how I got interested in martial art. I got my next door neighbor, luckily, was Dukyo Shimura, who was a judo teacher for Stockton, California. Very good judo teacher. And that's my first love was really judo. Okay, what I'm going to do is make this very, very informal. And so what I'd like to do is just end with the same technique. Sometimes rather than learning 100 techniques, it's much better to learn maybe 3 or 4 or 5 techniques and learn 100 ways to get into that technique. So I'm going to start with a basic leg sweep. I'm going to keep it very. So I'm going to enter from the lead punch, and I'll do this slowly. His left leg is forward. He's going to punch. You're going to trap. You're going to hit. You're going to sweep. You're going to move the body back. Okay. First one. So if the lead punch go over here, you can trap and go to the eye. You can hit the uppercut. You can hit the groin and come back to position. Now from here you can do many things. You can sweep all the way down. That would be one thing. Now that's first entry. It's from the lead punch. Now he's going to throw the front punch. He's going to throw the rear punch. And you're going to go exactly into the same basic, into that basic motion. From here you can knee, you can go into the grappling if you want to. So the first one we did from the jab, second one we did from the jab cross. Third one, he's going to throw the jab, he's going to throw the cross, he's going to hook, you're going to counter, go into the same technique here, and go to that position here. Okay? All right, that would be the thing. Notice that we did 3 techniques, but actually we're ending with the same technique. So let's review that again. He throws a lead punch, you heal, you score. Doesn't have to be like this, but this is the training. I'm going to take him all the way down. Then he throws the front punch, okay? Then he throws a rear punch. You come to that position, you sweep, you move the base here, okay? Now, he throws a lead punch, right here, throws a rear punch. He hooks, you scoop it up. This is just one of the many ways you can get into this technique. Doesn't have to be that way, but it's going to be that way for right now. Okay, when he's going to kick here, this is the key point. You want to hit that throat, hit the throat again, go into that same technique. Okay? All right, one more time. So he kicks low, you hit it here, that's a throat shot. You sweep it, you knee it, you come back to that position here. All right? Over here from this position here, in slow motion, he's going to kick the front here, but you're going to jab it, go immediately into the groin, go to the throat, sweep it, knee it, and go to that position here. Now when he kicks to the midsection here, you're going to kick, you're going to knee, pull the groin in, hit the throat, sweep it, knee it, go to the front. These are drills. Okay, now he's going to do it from this side here. He's going to kick, you're still going to get to the position, you're going to knee it, hit the throat, sweep it, knee it again, and come to that position, knee again. I trained in the martial arts and military, and I trained under Henry Slomansky, who is considered 9th and 10th degree. I believe on a 2-day tournament in Japan, he defeated 102 opponents, or 103, 104. And he was in the style of Chitaro. And I really admired this man named Henry Slomansky. So when I got out, I started looking for different schools, and I ended up with Mr. Ed Parker. And that's right after I got out of the military. It was in 1961. So I got involved in Kempo Karate. Almost simultaneously in Kempo Karate, I got interested in studying different martial arts. So in 61, when I got out, I also went into Kung Fu with Professor Wong in Chinatown, almost simultaneously. And I also got involved in Okinawan Te simultaneously. I've always studied 2 or 3 martial arts because that's a habit we did in Fort Campbell. We always tested boxing versus wrestling, wrestling versus judo, judo versus karate, because karate was very new at that time period. And that's always stuck with me all that time. Ed Parker is probably very influential in my life, and he encouraged me to even seek out, my own culture, because he said there was something in it. So I would say he introduced me to Bruce Lee, so I got interested in the arts that Bruce Lee taught. And so in the Filipino martial arts, that also led to Indonesian, Malaysian, Thai, African, you know, Brazilian. That's all started probably with my quest for, or understanding, let's put this understanding of how the whole martial art fit into the entire picture. Ed Parker is, at that time I knew him, he was a very powerful man. He stood about 6 feet. At that time he weighed anywhere from 195 to 200, 205, 210. Ed Parker I knew. Very powerful man, very innovating, and like Slemansky, I highly admired him. And like Bruce Lee, I highly admired him. Artwork, this was traditional Kung Fu. A lot of horse stance, a lot of understanding of different Tiger system, because he felt the Tiger system was the best for me. And I've considered my time with both Ed Parker and Professor Wong very influential. I think everybody influences you. I don't think there's, people try to compare. I don't think it's good to compare. I think in each time of your life, each person is very valuable at that certain period of your life. When a person's striking you, I like to cover and hit simultaneously. I like to go once to the eyes. I like to go to the throat. I might elbow, and I might knee the groin. I might even step on the toe and off balance that way, because his body is very weak in that position here like that. And you can knee. Okay, one more time slowly. So if I cover and hit, okay, I strike. There's 2 shots already. That's the elbow here, the knee strike here.
Hi, I'm Steve Grody, and I'm going to be working just a little bit with training process relative to Jeet Kune Do and Kali. So rather than just talk about straight technique, which is always a very easy thing to talk about, technique 1, technique 2, the point is how do we choose? What is the training process? And that's really what I'm most concerned with. So the first thing we talk about is before, during, and after. So if we're talking, for example, in terms of defense, then if I'm in some kind of confrontive situation, again, we've decided this is something where we need to act, and he steps towards me, then there's our stop hit. Because as he loads up to hit, that's the before. So I would train him to understand what the fighting measure is. The fighting measure is the range at which we cannot touch each other without taking a step. So if there is some kind of confrontation, you don't want to get closer. You don't want this kind of thing, because you've already given this person generalship, the chest-bumping, macho, dimwit thing. You don't want to do that. So if somebody, at the very least, when he steps in to chest bump me, then you stop it there for at least generalship, and then at this point, if he still tries to swing, you're in a good position to respond. So the first thing that we work with is understanding fighting measure. And I would train him that as I step towards him or as I load up, that he hits me first, because I am actually in the process of attack. That when his punch comes, okay, this is a during. It's during the development or the completion of his punch. When he punches, okay, that's during. In other words, that as it comes, that I'm hitting at the same time. That when he throws that cross, okay, that this is during. Okay, when he throws the cross, that this is during, that you're attacking into his attack rather than separating the defense and the attack. The reason I have the hockey gloves on is that now, when I punch Elazar, he can meet me with his elbow destruction, okay? And notice this time, he's going to, as I punch, that he's going to move back just a little bit as he destroys. So it gives that punch room, because what we don't want to do is that when he punches, see, I'm just too crowded. So in the same way that when he punches, I move back with a catch. Now I know that I have that range. So he knows that he can't move so far back that I don't want to punch, but not so close that he can't put his elbow in between. Bam. And he could catch the first one and then destroy the second one. Okay? So that is right off the bat. He can drop his elbow on this. Okay? And indeed, so I just feed him lines. He might catch, he might destroy. If he feels too crowded, he will sector, he will split, he will do that. If he feels further away, he can destroy, he can come in, he can. So I'm just feeding him, And notice that he is, as much as he can, that he is, see right there, stop hit. So there may be the sequence where he's having to deal with this, but then when I come in here, because this is what guys do. If I am hitting bone to bone, I want to use this because it just feels more comfortable in my hand. If I'm hooking, again, it's going to be neck, or it's going to be palm to the head because this feels much more comfortable on my hand. A bone against bone does not feel particularly good, and I know people that 10 years after they won the fight, their hands still hurt. So what kind of great victory is that? So we work the power on this stuff, and I can, again, flow from thing to thing, from hand combination to hand combination. Now, did he miss it because he was lacking skill? No, I'm going to make him miss sometimes because I want him to be able to flow from one thing to another. Now, I can either crowd him and he goes into elbows, okay, or as I crowd him, he moves back and stays at hand range, okay, and I can also use this to signal. Now, in the early days of JKD glove training, they would hold this for a round kick, and then they found out that people were not accurate enough at the time, and so I will just touch, and he will give me a training, a no contact round kick, exactly. And he might go there, okay, then he defends against mine, bam. And notice that he's trying to point his knee at my instep. He draws back, points his knee at my instep, bam. So rather than it being bone to bone or a simple shield, that when he round kicks me, I'm trying to destroy with I'm trying to make it as painful as I can. I want our ideal, which cannot always be achieved, but our ideal is that whatever he does is wrong.